some of you have seen my New Zealand videos and be like, Faith, you're always talking about New Zealand. You're always talking about New Zealand. Are you planning on relocating to New Zealand? At that time that New Zealand launched their visas, I was like, yeah, I think I want to go, Anyway, this is what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. There's a recent update about the New Zealand immigration pathway, and this is exciting because that means we can migrate to New Zealand. So hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, my name is Faithojone, and on this channel I talk about ways you can travel abroad and settle abroad. I provide you with resources on how you can get started. I also share latest immigration updates in the UK, how to settle in the UK, how to migrate to the UK, and everything about settling, traveling abroad. So if this is the kind of content you like, hit the subscribe button down below, turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I share new content. Without saying so much, let's get started. This is a quick disclaimer. I will not ask you to send me a private message on WhatsApp or Telegram or ask you for any money. I do not provide any paid services or anything that has to involve with money. Please do not send your money to anyone pretending to be me, because that is not me. If you've been following me right from the one, I always say that anything I do is free. I do not provide any paid services, okay? Do not pay anyone. Do not chat with anyone privately. I will never give my WhatsApp number or Telegram number to anybody. So please be aware of these scammers. New Zealand keep making it easier and easier for people to migrate to the country. This is way better pathway than Canada and the UK, if you ask me, because New Zealand has made it in a way that they don't want their migrants to suffer or to struggle when they get to the country. So it's like you get to come to the country as a permanent resident with a job. Unlike Canada, you get to migrate first as a resident. Then when you get to Canada, you start looking for a job. You have to get a job first. Then you don't apply for a skilled worker visa like the UK. You apply for straight resident permit. So you're traveling to New Zealand. you're migrating to New Zealand with a job and as a permanent resident. Recently, New Zealand have been reforming their visa, making it, adding a lot of things, like making the pathway a lot easier. Why am I excited, and am I traveling to New Zealand? Yes, guys, yes. So when the whole pathway thing came out, I discussed with my husband, like, okay, guy, this UK, I don't know. I know I've not been to New Zealand, I know, but I'm like, I think I want to change country. I don't think and because I read about the New Zealand, their weather is good, and the only thing about New Zealand is that it's far from every other places. But again, even the UK that is close to every places, how many times have I traveled? You get? Plus, no matter how far it is, almost when it's time to travel, we go still travel. Like, it's just the entire plane and you will go somewhere. It's not like you can trek to anywhere. You still need to get board a plane. So the distance is not a problem. Maybe the time difference is going to be a little bit of problem because it will be difficult for me to communicate with my family back home. But we will find a way. I was super excited. So when the pathway came out, the work to resident, straight to resident, and highly skilled, my husband occupation was not part of the straight to resident pathway. For the work to resident, you have to get a job in New Zealand. After 2 years of working in New Zealand, you can now apply for your resident permit. For straight to resident, if you get a job in New Zealand, you just need to apply for your resident permit. So you're going as a resident and you have a job. So what is the good news, and why am I excited that we are moving to New Zealand? So now the good news is that the New Zealand updated their green list. From the 15th of December 2022, registered nurses and midwives will move from work to resident to straight to resident green list pathway. All medical doctors will also be included on the straight to resident pathway. Then from the March of 2023, auditors will also be added to the straight to resident green list pathway. So yes, my husband is not a doctor, he's not a nurse, he's not a midwife, but he's an auditor. So from March of 2023, which is like in 3 months, they are going to add auditors to straight to resident pathway. So previously his occupation is part of work to resident. So and he was like, oh, I'm already on a skilled worker visa in the UK. If I'm going to be leaving the UK to any other country, it has to be like straight as a resident permit. I don't want to be on a skilled worker visa anymore. And work to resident, you have to go as with a job after 2 years of working in New Zealand. That is when you can get your residence permit. So now that his occupation is now on the list of the straight to residents, it's easy, guys. Look, I know I'm sounding as if we've already gotten the visa. I know we have not. We've not even started the process. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, with his Nigerian work experience and the UK work experience, do you think it would be difficult for him to get a job in New Zealand? Of course, no. And the fact that he works with one of the big four is just for him to move to another big four. So it's gonna be simple and easy. Yeah, I'm very optimistic. It's gonna be a lot easy. So this is good news for also nurses, midwives, and doctors. So if you are part of any of this occupation, good news for you. You can migrate to New Zealand straight as a resident with a job. So, but the criteria is you need to have a job with an accredited employer in New Zealand. Then once you've been offered a job, all you need to do is apply for your resident permit and migrate to New Zealand. So this is the good news I am sharing with you guys, and this is why I'm super excited. I know, like, people like, why would you want to leave the UK for New Zealand? I don't know. I just feel like when we migrated to the UK, things were not a lot. I think right now the UK is like a bit chaotic. The whole strike, tube strike, bus strike, nurses, like you cannot get an appointment if you're sick. It's so hard to get doctors. I mean, it's just too much. The housing crisis, the cost of childcare is just a lot. I'm not saying that it's going to be a lot easier in New Zealand, but I feel like New Zealand will be different. Okay, after getting this news, all I'm going to be watching on YouTube is New Zealand content. Anything that has to do with New Zealand, I'm going to binge watch the content because I need to know so much, because I am super excited about this next move. And the fact that my husband is in on it, he's super excited that his occupation now is part of the straight to resident pathway, and it will be easier for him now to move. So I am happy he is on it. He's on board, because I've been on board from day one. He's like, we're already in the UK, let's just stay. I'm like, I don't want to be in the UK anymore. I want to go. So yeah, guys, I know I talk about migrating to the UK, but a girl is not so much of a fan. If you're an auditor back home, and wherever you're watching me from, you're an auditor, you can also move to New Zealand via this pathway. It was announced that the following professions will be added to work to resident green list pathway from March of 2023, like civil construction supervisors, gas filters, drain layers, skilled crane operators, skilled civil machine operators, hala slotters, skilled motor mechanics, skilled telecommunications technicians, all secondary school teachers, and primary school teachers. All these occupations have been added to work to resident. So that is to say, if you get a job in New Zealand in any of this profession, you can migrate to New Zealand on a work visa, and after spending 2 years in New Zealand, you can apply for your resident permit. It's only UK that you have to spend 5 years before you can get ILR. Like, a lot of country are giving like resident permit now in 2 years. If your occupation is part of the critical occupation list in Ireland, you only get to spend 2 years in the country and you get your residency. But the UK, you spend 5 years. You know the frustration. Oh, tired of applying for visa, man. I mean, I'm tired of, if I'm in the country and I'm working, I'm staying legally, why should it take you so long to, give me a permanent permit? You need to stay updated on the New Zealand website if you're interested in migrating to New Zealand, because next year they will also be updating their the green list pathway. So if you want to read more details about New Zealand, about this information, I'm going to leave the link in the description box below so you can check it out. And also, if you're looking for accredited employers in New Zealand that can sponsor you, not like sponsor, but that can offer you an employment in New Zealand so you can use that to apply for your visa, then I'm going to leave the list of accredited employers down below. I've done a lot of videos on how to search for employers in New Zealand, how to apply for jobs in New Zealand, every single thing. So if you're interested in New Zealand, you would want to go and binge watch all my New Zealand videos so that you would, you know, have a proper understanding of how to go about your process. Information is going to be in the description box, how to find jobs and all the details. Anyway guys, we have come to the end of this video. If this video was helpful, give it a thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe. I keep saying thumbs up, like, share, comment, subscribe. It's the same thing, right? Yeah, so give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video guys. Bye.